Incoming broadcast!
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is, of course, my review for The Leftovers, which is an HBO TV show that aired from 2014 to 2017. It was 28 episodes long. The first and second season were both 10 episodes apiece, and then the third and final season was obviously only 8 episodes. This was a TV show that, truth be told, I did watch when I believe it was like late 2016, early 2017. I did watch like 4 years ago, but I can't lie, I didn't really understand it. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy it, if that makes sense. And it was always a show, though, that I wanted to reevaluate, and I knew that I liked the, opening episode because it really drew me in. Like, the idea of a population, like 2% kind of disappearing. For myself, growing up in a religious household, that was an idea that is in the Bible and everything, the rapture in Revelations and everything. So it's something that I was fascinated that a company like HBO would tackle that idea. And so that was the kernel that got me interested in the show. And then obviously why I stuck with the show, at least why I watched all 28 episodes the first time, was in fact just the such bizarre circumstances in which everything kind of unfolds. I mean, this is a show that has a lot of strange things that occur, and everything is done in a way that makes it feel hyper-realistic. It's very interesting, honestly, truth be told. But this is a show from the creators of Lost, Damon Lindelof. He is someone that I haven't seen Lost, but I have seen Watchmen, which Watchmen came out a couple years after, and I'm a huge fan of Watchmen. I think that Watchmen was incredible, and the fact that Damon Lindelof is able to write and create these shows, it's incredible, and I think he does such a great job with them. Then you also have, obviously, Tom Perotti. He is actually someone that wrote the book series. This is based on books, apparently, and he wrote the books as well as he also wrote the screenplays for this show. But in addition to that, he also wrote the book for the movie Little Children, as well as wrote that screenplay for that movie. And the movie Little Children is one of my favorites, honestly. It's very underrated. So this is a TV show that's like tailor-made for me, honestly, which is, again, why I wanted to revisit it. Because there was just so many things that I remember watching, and I was like, what is happening? What's going on? And 4 years ago, I wasn't in the best of places, honestly, from being truthfully and blunt. Just wasn't the best of places. So watching a show that just kind of like made things feel like kind of meaningless, I don't know, I just wasn't there so where I was able to fully appreciate it, and that's why I wanted to revisit it. And I have to say I'm glad that I did, because after watching it a second time, this is a really good show. I quite liked the show a bit. It's something that, as a film goer, as well as someone that watches TV shows a lot, it's one of those things that I appreciate a lot more now, because I've seen so much stuff to where they either have a lot of spoon feeding, or they have it where they just don't really trust the audiences. But this is a show that 100% does trust the audiences. When it does have exposition, which, should be told, there is, you kind of have to with shows and movies. When there is, it doesn't stick out because it's fitting, and it makes sense too, because it's usually like a character explaining to another character about something, and that character didn't know it. So it's not like two characters are saying things and it's like, remember that time we did this? And it's like, yeah, I remember it happened last year. It's like, no, if that does happen, it's something from like 30 years ago. That happens in like the third season. And I'm able to give it a pass because, let's be honest, like a lot of things that happened over a decade ago, you probably don't remember, but it might have had more of an impact on someone else, so they might remember it, and that's why it gets brought up. So I liked it. It felt more naturalistic, honestly, than a lot of exposition that I'm used to seeing. And again, it's a breath of fresh air. But on top of that, there's a lot of visual storytelling. The second season and the third season both have an opening scene that lasts between 8 to 10 minutes of no dialogue. And it does such a great job of establishing the world. It's great, honestly, too. It gives a lot of backstory, so to speak. And I thought it was quite impressive. I do remember both of those scenes when I watched it the first time, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. It didn't really stick with me. But this time around, it really kind of grabbed a hold of me, and I really dug it. The other thing I wanted to mention is Max Richter. His score for this show is outstanding. It is incredible. They use like 5-6 pieces, and obviously he dabbles a little bit more into experimental score over the progress of these 3 seasons, but there's like 5 main pieces that play throughout this show, and one in particular, holy cow, it is amazing. It is like a religious experiment, honestly, listening to it. I loved it. Cinematography is also something that is very experimental as well. It's one of those things where a big budget show that HBO usually handles, they usually have it where it's like, not handheld camera work. There's usually a lot of like, dollies, a lot of smooth camera work. But a show like The Leftovers actually had it where there is quite a bit of handheld camera work, like a lot. It gives it this indie feel, and honestly, I personally really dug it because it gave you that feeling of like being in the character's like perspective, being there with them, and I really dug that. I thought that was a very cool approach for something like this that, again, you wouldn't expect with like a big budget show like this to kind of do that. But again, you have filmmakers at the top of their game that are really toning in and honing into everything that they are trying to get across, and they do so in such a good way. Honestly, there aren't really too many missteps in this show. I will say there are a couple episodes here or there that I wasn't as intrigued or as fascinating or as honestly engaged, but those are far and few between. Like most of the episodes I gave between like an 8 to a 10. There wasn't too many 10 out of 10 episodes in my opinion, but there were a lot of 8 and 9, so that's really good. But one thing I also want to mention, because I feel like it's worth mentioning, the characters in this show are very intriguing, and it helps that they're played by incredible actors and actresses. Let me just name some of the main ones that really kind of stuck out with me. Justin Theroux, I think, in particular, does such a great job. Like, Mulholland Drive might be my favorite performance from him. He's not in it that much, but this is like an incredible role. Like his role playing Kevin is outstanding. And it's amazing too to see that he is technically the lead character, but there are so many episodes where he isn't even really in it, or if he is, it's only for like a little bit. So again, that trust in us as the audience being able to appreciate other characters, it's amazing honestly to see. But again, those other characters that kind of get a lot of screen time are characters such as Christopher Clayton's character, who plays Matt. Matt is someone that obviously is very heavy into religion. He is obviously, after all, a pastor. And he is someone that I haven't really seen in too much stuff. So it's nice and honestly refreshing to see that he has a lot of range. You watch like the first G.I. Joe, like Rise of Cobra, and then you watch like this and you're like, wow, this guy is actually amazing at what he's able to do. He's able to be in like a schlocky movie like that, and then he's able to be in something like this. And he gives it his all, honestly. His performance playing Matt is honestly amazing. There are a couple episodes in season 2 where he truly gets to shine, and the episode takes place 100% focused on him. And it's something to behold. He does such a great job. A very three-dimensional character, and has very satisfying arc too. I really dug it. And as someone that kind of, struggles with faith and everything, it's really fascinating to see another character that, kind of also struggles with that in some ways. So I really like that. Carrie Coon, she plays Nora, and honestly, this show came out right as Gone Girl came out. And so with Gone Girl and Leftovers, I feel like that was kind of like catapulting her into the fame that she has now. And she's incredible. She really brings a lot of nuance to the character of Nora. And I really liked her character. I really did. I think her character and Kevin's might be my favorite, especially their relationship. It's very fascinating stuff. Great chemistry, great blend. And it feels very nuanced, not only just with their approach of the acting, but also with what they give to certain things, like certain kicks that they'll have with the given to the story. And I liked that. I thought that was something to really kind of take in. Another character I liked was Liv Tyler playing Meg. Meg is a character that honestly you would not think Liv Tyler would play, because Liv Tyler I'm so used to seeing like Lord of the Rings and other stuff like along those lines where, she's very soft-spoken, which she kind of is in this too, but she seems very nice, but in this she seems very like hard-boiled, and I thought that was a really interesting take, and I bought it. I 100% bought it. She did a great job. I also really liked Patty. Andal is someone that I've seen before in obviously Hereditary as well as The Handmaid's Tale. She's incredible. She's an amazing actress. And in this too, as Patty, her presence is definitely felt, and she does such a great job. And honestly, the scenes with her and Kevin especially really brings a lot to the table. I really dug it. And then obviously another character I wanted to mention was Kevin Carroll, who plays Kevin Carroll plays John. John is someone that's introduced in season 2, and he does such a great job. I think that he really brings a balance to someone that doesn't really understand much about anything, but like his answer is pretty much violence. But it's interesting to see that kind of arc progress over the series and kind of see where he ends up being in season 3. So I liked that. And again, these are just shout outs like for characters that I personally really liked. I liked the other characters too, but these are the ones in particular that just really stood out for me. But yeah, The Leftovers, it's a really good show. It's got a lot of symbolism, a lot of things to peel back. It's a show that you can watch pretty much if you come from any background. And by that, I mean that I went to the show the first time around thinking that, it was going to be heavy on the religion and everything, but it's not really. It's more on like the spiritual aspect, and not even just that, also just being human. The politics as well with everything. Honestly, there's a lot of timely things that are in this show, and it's great to watch. But it's something that, again, from any background and walk of life, you can appreciate and watch this. And I really respect that. Again, HBO, I really dig what they do for filmmakers. It's nice to see that they give, freedom with stuff like this. I heard also the finale, apparently, of the show, they gave creative freedom 100%. So I love it, and it shows because the finale is amazing. But yeah, The Leftovers, I can't talk enough about it. I really love this show quite a bit. I think it's really good. It doesn't really have too many negatives per se. Again, there are a couple episodes here and there that are a bit too slow for my liking. But again, it is a show I can't help but think about and marinate on, and I will probably revisit it yet again a third time down the line. But as it stands, I will be giving The Leftovers a 4.25 out of 5-star rating, which, for those who like a hot sauce rating, gets to get old Louisiana Pure Crystal hot sauce. So yeah, I like the show. It's good. Season 1, I gave it 8.5 out of 10. Season 2, I gave it 8.7 out of 10. And then Season 3, I gave it 8.3 out of 10. Season 3 I liked, but there were a couple episodes that, kind of meandered. But it was a great first episode of Season 3 and a great finale of Season 3. So it made up for it. But guys, again, The Leftovers, what did you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.